Hi, Fresh Talks Global Vision. I am so happy to be here with you. We're always talking about how can we bring more love and attention and excitement to what we do every day. I feel like if you get connected, there's like no possibility of stopping yourself. It's just endless. All these things open up. And that's why I trademarked mindset transformation entertainment. If we keep entertaining our brain, it just kind of goes, hey, I'm having fun. And then all of a sudden, everything opens up. You get more into your heart center. You stop being scared of things that may, fear you in life every day. And so I want to be this show that holds the space of no matter what you want, you get, especially when you're listening to your heart and you create through that. So today we're inviting in somebody fun. I just met Ray and I wanted to call him Ray of Sunshine, and we started laughing about that. But he is on this journey about connecting with like the spiritual journey and learning about how you can really live in this ray of light. So I can't wait to hear more about this story because we were in the green room and I heard quite a bit and I go, oh my gosh, Ray, didn't I say that we need to start right now? We need to actually get to know each other right in front of everybody. So my friend, please share with me what is your journey around this? Because we were talking about when you're starting your business. That was a great conversation. Can we share with the what happened? I think it was 2020 when you really started saying, okay, this is time to start getting some
Well,
clients to get
it
moving.
actually starts before that. It starts when I was 17 and I started having racing thoughts. I didn't know where they were coming from. And I couldn't sleep. I'm here in the middle of a beautiful forest and I gave myself to God and nature. I said I want to help people. I want to go on this mission, and I don't know, it was a mystical experience. I saw the shooting star meteor shower of a lifetime. So I felt like my prayers were answered that night. But I didn't really know how to,
Rebirthing.
it was a rebirthing, but I didn't really know how to explain it. I was like, in my mind, I thought I saw an act of God. So when I told my family that, they said, okay, Raymond's not doing too well. And
There's many
so,
people out there that accept what you just said, but your family said, so there's something going on with Ray.
well, I think they believed it, but right around those nights, I had a subconscious thought that said I was God. So I get into they take me to the mental hospital. It's July 4th, 2006. So of course everybody's on vacation. It's 4th of July. They're not. So I'm in the hospital 4th of July 2006, and the psychiatrists keep coming in. They said there's nothing wrong with him. He's not on acid. He's not on any of this stuff. We don't know what's going on with him. They asked me if I hear voice. I said I hear your voice. So all of a sudden, I hear my mom and my grandma in the background saying, "Maybe he is God. I have no clue. Maybe he is."
So they were ready to be open to this. They're
I'm
like,
ready to
okay.
be open to it. And then I ended up going into Fremont Hospital for a week. All I did was play jokes on the staff. And love was my message, and making kids laugh and tell the jokes, befriending people that don't have a lot of friends. Kind of like what Jesus would do: be friends with people that don't have any friends. You know what I mean?
True.
So, regardless, is I was out of after a week. I was able to graduate from high school. They diagnosed me with a mild case of schizophrenia, but now, as time has gone on, I've been re-diagnosed with bipolar and anxiety.
Mm.
But the medication they had me on worked okay, but there were times where my insomnia was bad. I got a job as a tutor at American College for 2 years. I was happy with it. I was helping people. Took a break at 4 year, and then I became a substitute teacher in 2014. And I liked my job for the most part, but I was burnt out very early, and the summers couldn't come soon enough. But then I realized I got to have a job, so that couldn't come soon enough either. But everything changed when I met my wife. I met my wife in 2014 on Veterans Day on an online dating app called Plenty of Fish. And this is after a series of 3 prayers. I'm like, I got to find some. I don't know how to pick them. You pick them for me. And I was raised a progressive Protestant. My dad was Catholic. My mom's Protestant. My wife is Hindu. So you would
Mm.
think on paper this would not be a very good match because Hinduism is polytheistic and Christianity is monotheistic. So you would think this is not going to work. There's no way. Well, as we've grown together in our lives, we realize that as an astrological side, Pisces and Cancer go very well. I'm a Cancer, she's a Pisces. So now I'm like at the point, well, I have a flexible job. If she has a day off during the week, I'm going to take a day off during the week to go spend time with her.
Yeah.
Regardless, is we got married May 25th, 2019. And it was right after I got back from Hawaii that I went through my second spiritual awakening. So I've
Mm.
been through two. I've been through one when I was 17, second year now. The issue with spiritual awakening is in the mental health industry, they're going to look at it as a mental break.
Oh,
There's no like, there's no room for spirituality in the mental health industry.
wow.
So my heart was pounding. I'm like, what is going on here? It's telling me to wake up. So I prayed. I realized, what is it really in my heart? And I said, I want to be a coach. I've been wanting to be a life coach for a long time.
Mm.
And so I ended up buying a book called the Life Coaching Book, started reading it. And then I went into Health Coach Institute in 2019, September 2019, to get my health and life coach certifications, which is not needed in the coach industry. You can start going on, but it's recommended that you do have certification just because you learn the basic and concept of coaching. It was 2020, lost my job. My wife's job was scaled back. I got unemployment. So I realized, well, because we know it's the pandemic here.
Yeah.
Schools are shut down. I'm like, I actually was getting paid more staying home actually than working, I have to tell you the truth. But I started coaching, health coaching. I did some health coaching. I did some life coaching. I did some relationship coaching. I did financial coaching. I did everything. I was trying to find my niche.
Yeah.
I even did relationship coaching individually. Then I realized, okay, what kind of coach am I to call myself? Because my branding is really about relationships and spirituality, but it's actually more happiness that my
Yeah.
branding is all about, and love and doing the inner work. So I realized that I needed, before I went on this journey, I had to go through my healing journey first. So I'm starting this business. I'm going through this. I have this $1 million idea, but I realized I got to go through my healing journey first. So I connected with a Baumana therapist and we exchanged services for 2 years. I coached her. She healed me for 2 years.
Wow.
And she healed repression, she healed schizophrenia, she held racing thoughts, she held indecisiveness, she healed. We even did ancestral healing, so she was able to unblock an emotion that came from my great grandmother. She was able to block an emotion that came from my great grandfather on my dad's side, like exhaustion. So there's ancestral healing in there. It was June of 2023 where I realized that I wanted to see if I can come down on medication.
Yeah.
Psychiatrist that I had said, "Oh, well, can I cut the pill in half?" He goes, "Sure, if the stress comes back, then go back on." Because it's really stress that these medications help kind of manage. It's really
Oh.
really all they really do. I cut it in half. I could I sensed a chemical imbalance. I was aware of it. I got a little manic, not a whole lot. I realized that this feeling in my head was so strong. It was almost like stress. So I went back to my therapist, my biotherapist, and she unblocked the blockages. So I'm even more at peace. And then I realized, well, if it's stress that's causing mental health issues, which for many of us will cause a lot of different issues as well, physical
Yeah.
as well, I reached out to a another therapist that does emotional code therapy, and I said, "Can you heal stress and overwhelm?" She says, "Yes." She did 3, and I lost 35 pounds in 2 months, in about a month. Because
Whoa.
most of
Release of stress, huh?
it's to relieve the stress. Most of us eat our emotions. We really do. So if
Or
you
hold it too.
or hold our emotions. So I lost a lot of weight. My wife said, "You know, you're looking real sexy right now, but you're losing a lot of weight right now." So I said, "Okay." So I went to the doctor, it was fine. But it was in September. I'm laying on my couch right here. And I'm getting into this whole other realm of like heaven within inside of myself. I'm like in heaven or nirvana, whatever you want to call it, eternal bliss. I'm sitting right here after dinner with my wife. I hear my dad coming into the other room and he puts a hand on me. His eyes are lit up and he goes, "Ray, everything's gonna be okay." I start realizing like it wasn't his voice that said that. It was not his voice. And I'm like, did God just go through my dad and say everything is gonna be okay? It was much calmer, much deeper. I go in the shower to kind of figure out, and I'm like, I start crying like Alexis, dad comes in, and God goes, and he goes, it's kind of like a final, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So I right after, but the next day, I woke up. My wife goes, "What's going on with you, Raymond? I feel like I can't count on you. Like you just said." I was so at peace. I didn't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered. I just wanted to stay here.
You're
So
learning about being, huh?
I was learning just about being present in the moment, and I still do that, but a little bit. And then my wife goes, "So I'm at school. It was September, and I decided to take a long-term substitute teaching position because we need money." At this point, my dad's health is declining, my grandma's health declining, so I'm not really working my coaching business as much. I took the substitute teaching position. They never gave me any support, no mental health support. I was able to control 4 out of the 5 classes. Finally, I was able to grade their work. I did over and beyond, did great work, turned bullies into friends real easily by using spirituality, which public education will never do that, but I did it, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
And right around that time, I asked my bottom therapist if you can put on the code awareness so I could be more aware of my surroundings, more aware. And then I realized that's not enough. Can you put manifesting miracles code on? And she did, and she put it on her code as well. So now my words and actions mean a lot more, which happens when you become a super manifester.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I manifested this, but someone came to my door at 11:40 at night and freaked the heck out of me, rang the doorbell. I'm like, I gotta let the school district know because I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where he comes from. So I emailed school district that I'm not coming in the next day. I gotta figure this out. He never came back, but that was the last day I would ever work at Bancroft Middle School. I did work for 3 times as a security guard at Sandler High.
Mhm.
And that went well, but my mental health was started to decline because I wasn't on any kind of medication at this point. My mind's overactive, it's racing, I'm getting all these thoughts, but every time I would write them down, it would go away. So I would
Yeah.
write these thoughts down, it would go away.
Yeah.
So my mind's getting real active because when you heal stress and overwhelm, your mind will get active because it's stress that kind of keeps you in a fog. So
Yeah.
my mind's getting real active. So I went back to my psychiatrist and I said, who I didn't like, I sent him a little message saying, "Hey, I want to have it reevaluated." Then I spent another message with my own doctor saying he is not empathized with my family situation. He calls within 20 minutes saying, "I'm really sorry for not empathizing with your family situation." So right now, I'm manifesting things through Kaiser. I'm doing everything through Kaiser. So he's like, "I'm really sorry for not empathizing with your family. Can I like give another chance?" So here's the thing. Kaiser is just dropping the ball, which they always do with mental health, which is why they just are losing lawsuits right and left right now with mental health. I'm not doing well. I'm agitated. I'm anxiety. I go into the emergency room in November,
Mm.
and I wasn't feeling good. I just let me go. So they died. My blood pressure was at 153 over 40, which is really high for me. So I talked to everyone. Finally, was able to say I want to be transferred to the one down the street. So I did. Right around that time, my grandmother had paid for a holistic psychiatrist out of Oakland, and they have had problems with Kaiser for a long time. So when I was filling out the paperwork, they asked me, "Why did you go in the mental hospital?" I said, "Because Kaiser thought I was God." As you can see, how the story amplifies itself.
Yeah.
And then what did they say you wanted help with? I said sexual performance. Then I put my business name on the actual thing where I worked at and not my substitute teaching because I didn't want them calling my job. So I put my business name. I talked to my bottom therapist friend, India. She goes, Ray, that was genius. Brandon wants to talk to you. So I don't know what happened. When I was walking in community, people were giving me thumbs up that I didn't even know me. What happened? I had I was walking in Castro Valley with my dad, and I get this Jewish guy goes, "Hey, are you Jewish?" So I follow Leviticus diet, so I just let him go. Regardless, says, I don't know what happened. I had people coming up to me at the coffee shop, like said, "Hey, how's it going, man?" So obviously it went viral, but I didn't see it. Obviously, the whole thing went viral. My buddy Roy thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went viral. Then we can't find it. I can't find it on YouTube. I can't. I mean, it's probably one of those one-time things, where you
Yeah.
can't. It's fine. It's cool. And right around that time, I went to the school district. It was December 3rd, and I saw the alarm on. I'm like, well, that's alarming. The cops aren't even showing up when there's alarm going on at the school district. So I was running around. I was walking. I saw this kid that went to Bank. Can you tell Principal Sloan that the alarm was off? I come walking out there one day on a walk, and he goes, Ray, is there anything else you know about it? I said, yeah, there's going to be a storm. Got to keep the kids inside. They took that as bomb threat.
Oh.
And that's what led to my termination at San Leandro Unified School District,
Oh boy.
among other things. I'm like, okay, but right at that time, I was seeing my new psychiatrist. She goes, you know what? Your Zyprexa was working because the Zyprexa I had wasn't working anymore. I'm going to give you a different medication that dissolves in your mouth. At this point, I'm not anxious. This time I'm a little paranoid because at the point where I'm like, what is going on in my life?
Ooh, sorry about that.
She got out the right medication, and I realized, I don't have to work for a school district ever again. Why would I, with all the threats and all the gun threats and all the bomb threats? So this is at a time where I'm still coming back from my awakening, my mental break. Sorry,
Here, did your phone just ring too?
it did. That's my mother.
My
Okay.
phone rang, your phone rang. It was my brother, and that was
Oh,
your family.
yeah. Well, I'll talk to her later. So, regardless, so I'm in there, and she goes, "We're going to give you a different medication. This is Zyprexa, but it dissolves in your mouth, and so it's easy." And it worked. I had no depression. I have no anxiety. I have no paranoia. I'm sleeping better than I ever have. I did gain a little bit of weight, but the reason why I gained weight is because my dad's health began to decline. His blood pressure normally would be about 120 over 40. His would go down to like 60 over 40 on a daily case.
Wow.
Last 2024, starting March, April, my grandmother really started having a hard time. My mom came down a few times. Right now, I'm not even thinking about my coaching business. I'm working on a book. I'm actually working on 2 books right now. And I'm over here. I'm like, what's going on? So my grandmother goes on hospice June of last year for COPD. She can't get out of bed. My dad ends up getting a heart attack August of 2024 in the middle of the night.
Oh boy.
That led to a few tests going on. And after that, they realized he had stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh.
So I'm at the point now where I got to caregive for my dad and I got to kind of manage my grandma's situation. There's no way I could run a coaching business right now. Absolutely no. There's no way I could work. My dad would finally end up passing away January 7th of 2025 this year.
Wow.
And my grandmother, although stable, she needs 24/7 care. She'll have an asthma attack every now and then. Then my mom's in town. That's why she called. So, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But in public, I became the man of misunderstandings. So everywhere I went, there was always some sort of thing manifesting through someone else. So I remember I took my buddy Roy to a barbecue place in Castro Valley, I ordered it. They got the order wrong, and they gave us a free water. And they didn't even know about the free water. And so, and then we were looking for his stepdad who passed away. We're looking for it. We start looking at these like graveyards. I'm like, I wonder how many of these are Norteños. And some guy comes walking out of the blue, says, "Did you know this person?" And we're like, we're just looking for someone else. And so you can look in there. So we got the heck out of there and left. That's when Rory became a believer. It was like, oh, this guy's going to become a super manifester. This guy's becoming supernatural.
Raymond, the life you're living is incredible. The stuff that you're talking about, people are trying to get to that point where they can feel that they're living in the space as
Yeah.
manifesting everything, and there's just that frequency, the connection with everything. What are you discovering
I'm
about this?
discovering the more I get into my mystical side, because anyone who believes in God and wants a relationship with God that achieves oneness becomes a mystic. Because a mystic is the final stage of spiritual development before you become, in some way, I call myself a mystic. If I call myself the second coming, people think are going to be I'm crazy. People think I'm going to be on drugs. But if I call myself a mystic, then it's like, okay, now I understand what you are. If I call myself the man of misunderstandings, okay, that makes sense because men are misunderstood. And also, it also makes sense because it's just a little more flow. But what a lot of people don't understand is that a misunderstanding is a scientific explanation of a miracle. So when you're actually out in nature and you're studying nature, there are events that happen that are beyond what the scientists can comprehend, so they
Yeah,
call it misunderstanding.
yeah.
It was in October of 2023 where I walked up to my house, up to my trail that I usually go, and I saw a hawk. Hawk came in my vision, so I followed the hawk. There were two white beings sitting on a bench. I go, "Can I talk?" He goes, "Yeah." One said he was afraid of dying. I said, "Well, you shouldn't be afraid of dying." Because not only did Jesus teach spiritual awakening, but he also taught if you are a good person, you're going to go to another place. I no longer believe you have to be Christian to make it to the afterlife. I think
Right.
there is truth in all religions, and they all try to get to the same place. That's what they're trying to do. But
Yep.
I also told him what I told him I was going to perform miracles in public. He goes, when I understood who they were two angels. I believe they were angels that I saw. They didn't have wings, but they were
Yeah.
male. They were real calm.
Yeah.
I was the only one meant to see them, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that's what started my spiritual leader career was that moment.
Yeah.
And at this point, last year I was getting into podcasts, was going on to shows, I was getting views. I went it was part of a curriculum by someone in New Zealand, and then of course my family dynamic just kind of started to fall apart. And it's like, let me just take a break. Even my psychiatrist goes, just take a break. And my dad passed away this year, and I'm like, but I didn't really cry. I was like, first it was relief. I'm like, okay, he's no longer suffering. He's no longer in pain. I have had 2 dreams about him since. One, we were on a road trip. We're going around, we're listening to music, but the road gets too steep, so we have to turn around before the car falls off. The second dream that we had is he's in this house right here, the house I live in, and he goes, "Yeah, I didn't die. I'm doing fine." I'm like, I remember being mad at the dream, like, "I went and told everybody that you passed away. Now you're telling me you're alive?"
But Raymond, can we hold that space for a moment
Sure.
about that? Do you really actually ever die? Because
No, we don't.
we're just following this. We get to take care of this body, but I mean, our spirit just transitions into another. But the spirit is still here and around if you're connected with that. These
Well,
people who have
here's the
passed
thing.
on. So
I've been in the spiritual realm twice in my life, once at 17 and once as an adult. And I don't think I've ever fully left it. Even
yeah,
though I'm taking like a strong case of psych medication, that all that does is help me sleep at night because otherwise my mind will get too active.
yeah,
But and it helps with other things as well. But I don't think I've ever quite left it because now I see meaning in everything. I see meaning in everything I do. I recently rekindled a friendship that I haven't had in 2 years. But what I realize is that I was kind of I don't think she understood who I was. I'm like, I I told her I was the auspicious one, but I don't think she quite knew who that was.
Yeah.
But or man, a misunderstanding, but she's like, and after a while, she got mad that I gave $6 to a homeless person when I should have spent $60 for her bouquet of flowers in her business. And I'm like, first of all, my wife doesn't like flowers on an everyday on for holidays. She would much rather be surprised coming home, or she likes plants because plants you can grow, you can tend to, you can make 'em- the flowers will die after a week or two. I'm not going to spend $40 on flowers that are going to die in a week. What's the principle behind it? So I cut her off. I said, I can't handle this. She's coming around. She's being too needy. I'm like, I cut her off. And so one message is when you're in relationships or friendships, set boundaries. Definitely set boundaries. Even in marriage, set boundaries. Like you do this, this is a no go. Don't always be a people pleaser, and that's you don't want to. And you can't really control others as well.
Yeah.
You can only be a you can only be just who you are, and you can only focus on yourself. So my wife and I, right now, my wife is working. She's got a great job. She's got a business. She's got a clothing boutique. So I help her run her clothing boutique as well, while I'm going on shows and writing my book and hanging out with family. So I'm happy. I'm like, I'm happy I don't have to work at a godforsaken place at San Diego Unified School District. I'm happy that my family's in town.
Yeah, but you're creating business the way that you're doing this because there is a reason why you were talking that you're a love coach and you've been saying these different things, but you you are being so that you can create so
Yes.
that that is going to build something sustainable for you and your wife. I mean the let me say this, the power of what you sit in having your dad come to you, put his hand to your heart and say something, you are able to connect with people around you and have a frequency that
Mhm.
that's where all the transformation happens. You like what you said, you're a mystic. So that's at a very high level. You're to hone that skill, you have to have this space or you are not serving here on
Yeah,
earth what
and the thing
you
is my dad didn't remember saying what he said the next day. So it's
Mhm.
like, obviously and that this goes to show you that the kingdom of God is within us. So if God
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah.
appear, it's gonna be an internal feeling. You're never gonna see God. It's kinda like, people say, "Oh, the second coming of Christ." You're not gonna see a Jewish rabbi coming out of the clouds, running down like, "Oh, hey." It's not
We'd
gonna
all be running or killing ourselves because we were afraid, like, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
which a lot of people thought the apocalypse was 2020, but I actually don't believe in Revelation that much, only
Yeah.
because there were hundreds of ending of the world types books at that time. It was a play. You would write a book, and then you'd have a like Shakespeare. You'd have a play afterwards, and you would have
Yeah.
a this action. And I think in the earth having a global vision of speaking love in public, and like you said in the beginning of this, before we went on, not blaming others and stuff like that. That's your
Yeah.
vision. I think the more we actually go out in public and we observe, kind of like what the Asians do, they observe. They don't talk a lot, but they just observe their surroundings,
Yeah.
which I've actually learned over the years is just to be an observer. Now you see that we are all divine, just having a human experience.
Yeah. Really
Some
see that.
people are at different levels than others. Some people are stuck in organized religion. Some people are atheists, but we need all of them because the atheists keep the extremists at bay. They say, no, science is proving things. But I
Yeah.
will also say that quantum physics is proving that a divine exists.
Yeah.
So science is starting to become so
And
advanced.
science is catching up because people are getting smarter how to figure out how to prove this stuff out.
Right, exactly. It's like Dr. Joe Dispenza, like his
Mhm.
work. He calls it the quantum mechan,
Yeah.
but he also, let's face it, it's the divine. It's what we've all been following our whole lives.
Yeah.
But I also think, with faith, the continuation of to move things forward, no matter how hard things are, is what faith really is. And
Yeah.
I and some I would say now, yeah, I'm about as happy as ever been. My relationship is good. Couple of weeks prior to my dad, he was experiencing that he was seeing his parents. He would vision his dad, he would vision his mom. He says,
Yeah.
"Mom, are you there?" And usually that'll happen when you're on your way out.
Yeah, he's preparing.
He
He's
was
like saying, "Hello, I'm
preparing to
coming."
go to the ancestral, and all I'm thinking is like, I hope they have a bass guitar for you, and they hope they have the golf clubs for you.
Oh, he probably has everything he
I'm
wants.
sure and I'm hoping that he's just eating enough food just to love and not gain weight. That's not how I love it. That's what I think the ancestral realm is. You just eat as much food as you want and not gain weight.
Yeah.
That would be heaven for me. Just use what
Raymond, I love what you're talking about. You are so point on for the conversations I've had today. I've already had 2 conversations that are just in alignment with what you're talking about. I live this every day and I breathe in what you're saying. It's interesting how you have gone into the thing about what you're diagnosed with because when we start looking at what medicine does, like what you were saying, you understand what your medicine does for you when you're on it and it helps certain things. But it's interesting about how your mind works. You have so much stuff going on that you can't sleep, maybe, perhaps is what you were saying, because you are ready to move forward and these things are showing up for you. So I want to share with you, I was on thyroid medicine for 20 years. And as soon as I decided to take that veil off, not take that pill again, something happened for me. Now, do people say that thyroid medicine stops your brain from thinking? It makes you foggy. It slows you down for certain things? No, my medicine was to help my metabolism and make sure I stayed awake because I'd fall asleep
my dad
instantly.
was on thyroid
When I
med.
said, you will, when I took it off, I don't have any of those symptoms anymore. But I know the more alignment I get, the more. And you were talking about weight. Instantly, I gained weight because that's what happens with hypothyroidism. But as I get connected more with the alignment of my journey of why I'm here, that the alignment, my body is like shrinking. I
Well,
feel
so
healthy.
your throat, your thyroid's right here, but that's very close to your throat chakra.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
part of the shutdown. I believe that a lot of us are shut down.
yeah, no, and there's not enough Eastern approach, the African spirituality will discuss chakras, but there's not enough um, in Western civilization to really discuss the alignment of all 7 chakras. Leave it, throat, your crown chakra, your throat chakra, your root chakra, all these chakras. And if you can balance all of them, you can manage almost anything.
Yeah. Your body heals. We're right back into Joe Dispenza and, many people before him that have proved of
Absolutely.
growing different things based on thinking you can't heal yourself. And these stories are
And I'm
incredible. So, Raymond, your claim, I want you to make a claim here because I want to transition since we've been
sure.
on this a bit. What can you share with me? And I may be asking a question that maybe you're contemplating or doesn't feel right to answer, but what is your claim here on why you are here on earth? What is some discoveries you're learning about yourself of what your purpose is? Maybe karmic things that have stopped you before that you're breaking through. Can you share with me what you're working on here and what you're creating? Because mine is let's open up the vocals, let's stop the blaming and shaming. And every time I get into that, I see the growth.
Hmm.
For you, what is yours, sweetie? I want to know.
I have 2 responses for that. Number 1, this is my last incarnation on Earth. I'm not coming back.
Oh, wow.
I'm not
Okay.
coming
This is
back.
big.
I'm not coming back a 4th time. So
Okay.
I've been here quite a few times, actually, probably thousands of years.
Yeah.
Um, I guess my vision here is to restore faith in communities that have lost faith. So if you go to church, obviously you still have faith. I don't know how well your faith is. I don't know if you have other issues at home. But there's a community out there that has lost faith. Some I came up with the idea of a chapter in my book, Bringing Society Back to God Through Sports. Most people watch sports, soccer, basketball, baseball, football. What I've been able to notice, and the pattern I've had, what started on my PlayStation was my PlayStation would stop at angel numbers 444, 333. Like, what
Mhm,
the hell's going on?
mhm.
Notice this at sports games. So, kind of like movies like Angels in the Outfield or The Field of Dreams or The Sixth Man. So, I'm running a chapter in my second book combining the divine and sports. Because I think these are the best movies because it's what we all love. We grew up pastime. Some of us may not like this sport, they may not like that, but the goal is we all are a team on this planet, and we've got to work as a team
Yeah.
to solve the world's problems. We got to have an interfaith dialogue. We got to have things to we just have to work together, and that's such a polarizing opposite of what's going on in Washington right now. No one wants to work with anyone. And that's been going on since Obama was in, since Bush, really Bush, Obama, they've had their issues. I'm not going to get into politics too much on this
If
because
you're running out of time, my friend,
we
you're doing
but
good answering that.
I want to restore faith into the world as far as the communities that have lost faith. That's my goal.
I love that quote. And so after our time together, I want to put that quote together and send it to you so you can share with others about your interview here. Because you, if this is really your last time on earth, you're going to be breaking some big things here, some big barriers. So I want to keep up with you and definitely share with what maybe we'll be doing another interview or something. But amazing what you're talking about. I
You can
appreciate you, Raymond.
follow me on a friend request me on Facebook.
Facebook, okay. So is it under Raymond Freitas?
Yeah, you could follow me that. You'll see
Oh,
real life marriage spiritual empowerment, and you can also follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram.
okay,
Instagram would be at Ray of Life, me LinkedIn at Raymond Freitas.
okay. And then that will be in all the videos that we when the I know for sure YouTube is running you right now, so we'll make sure to get all that information in there. Thank you, Raymond, for your time. You are a miracle in what you're doing. I appreciate your work here on Earth and your discovery of what you're doing.
Thank you, Rhonda, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. Fresh Talks Global Vision, fans of Raymond Freitas. He's out there doing big things. Right now, he's learning to be so he can hear these downloads and what his next steps are because the book sounds like it's going to be powerful because of what you speak and what you're talking about and the interviews you're doing. So appreciate you, my friend. Have an insightful day, everyone. Love you.
All right, bye.